Hey, so I wanted to hop on and record a video about some stuff I was thinking about earlier. I made a video a while back about how the way I experience fandom is different than the way that I see a lot of people experience fandom. And to me, that was probably one of the best videos I've done, just in terms of how well I got my point across, and the kind of stuff I talked about. So I was thinking about other stuff along those lines in terms of the differences between how I enjoy two things: gotcha games, the type of mobile game where you roll for characters, free to play, that kind of stuff, and streaming and game streamers, specifically watching streams and not doing streams, which I do from time to time. So, first, I wanted to talk about gotcha games because this is really interesting because I have a very limited view of what the community for gotcha games is like, which is sort of related to how I experience them. But when I do see the community, it seems very different from what I do when I play gotcha games. So, how I play gotcha games is I try to look at characters and units as little as possible if I don't have them. So, nothing online about them do I want to see. I won't watch any footage of them. I won't look up what abilities they have. The only thing I might do is look at like a rough tier list, which I only do for Dragon Ball Legends because that's the game that I'm the most experienced with. I only play three gotcha games, one of which just came out. Um, Fate Stay Night is a series where units can change their appearance pretty substantially if you level them up enough and ascend them. I would never look at how ascended units in Fate look once you do ascend them. And I get annoyed when the story mode shows what units look like, units that I have when they're ascended. All of this is pretty contrary to what I see people, the way I see people acting about gotcha games. I was on the subreddit for the gotcha game I play that just came out, Attack on Titan Tactics, earlier, and it's just all people wanting to know what the best units are. All people, just going through character list and going, how do they compare, um, and stuff like that. Um, a personal thing that I think is maybe a little different with me, but I think is probably the thing on this list that I have the most in common with others is that while there is a pretty big occupation with who the best characters are, looks and the sort of feeling I get from a character are almost equally important. So in Dragon Ball Legends, I play a lot of Dragon Ball characters because I think they're the coolest. I like them the most. People like Mercenary Tao, I was using a lot early on just because I like him, even though he's not considered a good character by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and just, even if there's a character that I don't really know, like in Fate, if they seem cool or they give me a good vibe, I'm going to want to use them, even if they're not supposed to be good. I tend to focus in gotcha games a little on all characters, though. And this is something that I think does differ with me and everyone else, at least in terms of what I see with Fate, where I think the conventional thing to do is sort of just pick your team and focus on them as much as possible. But with Fate, I really like the aspect of changing the characters' appearances, so I try to level everyone up so I can see as many of those as possible. Um, and so yeah, I sort of try to spread the love throughout all characters. In Dragon Ball Legends, I especially do this so much that I don't have anyone maxed out. No one's at level 3000, which is the max level right now in that game. And I have like 150 characters in that game. I have a lot. I have like maybe two-thirds that of the characters that exist. Um, a big reason why I don't have anyone maxed out, other than simply trying to spread the love, as I said, is because I don't give a shit about PvP in gotcha games. I think Dragon Ball Legends is considered a PvP game, and I actually took a really long break from that game, like more than 6 months, probably closer to a year, because partially because I was burned out from having to do the PvP every day to do missions. Um, I, I think that was the reason, and I didn't realize that until later. When I came back to it months later, I have not done PvP a single time, and I've been into the game ever since then. So I haven't dropped it again, and I have a feeling that's because I haven't been doing PvP at all. But I think that game is very about PvP. When you look at tier lists, it's all about how to deal with other teams and other people, which is not something I care about because I'm just doing the story mode. I'm just doing the events. Um, and that sort of feeds into a really big thing with me and gacha games, which is something that a lot of people who play gacha games don't really seem to have learned or internalized like they should, like everyone should, which is that I drop things that I don't have fun with. Uh, Whether it's a part of a game or whether it's the entire game, I need to be getting something out of it. And I realized this very early on with the very first gacha game I ever played, Kingdom Hearts Unchained X or Unchained Key, whatever you want to call it. I dropped that game, and it was like a realization for me because I'm a person who's very used to finishing when I start. But with these kinds of free to play mobile games, they operate differently than most games. They don't give you as much story wise, and they ask a lot of you time wise, and effort wise, and everything. So I said, I'm not gonna keep playing this because I don't think it's really very fun. So I dropped it, and it was a while until the next one I tried was Dragon Ball Legends when that came out. Fate Grand Order. I dropped that for a few months because I had to rush through an event. There was an event that happened. My friend was like, "You gotta get this character," and I rushed through it. I had to level people up more than I wanted to level them. I had to get help from units that I didn't have through the friend system, which I don't like getting help from units I don't have because I don't like seeing units that I don't have. I needed to use them in order to beat the event, and I didn't like doing that, so I quit that game for a few months because of that. Um, Now I've decided to ignore all events until I catch up on the story, which I'm only on the first chapter after the prologue chapter, so that's going to be a long time. When I talked about leveling people up more than I wanted, I try to level characters in accordance with the what I'm doing at the moment, like usually in the story mode, that'll be. So whenever I'm doing a fight in any of these games, I try to use characters that are around the suggested level or around the level of the enemies I'm fighting. Um, so it's rare that I will break that and just use overpowered units, but sometimes I'll do that for fun. The last thing about gacha games that I feel I do a little differently than other people is that I would never reroll early on in a game. That's when you might delete the entire game and then reload it in order to get like a good first pull from the like free ones that they give you. It feels dirty. I wouldn't want to do that. That seems like cheating. Something funny with the new Attack on Titan game is that on my first roll of the one that they give you, which they actually let you do an infinite number of times, I think, for just the one character. People have still re-downloaded the game so they can spend the initial crystals they give you on other rolls and see how they do with those. But for the infinite roll, I got Annie the first try, which is apparently the character everyone is like telling people on Reddit, you need to keep rolling until you get Annie. I got her the first try. I didn't know how good she was going to be. So that's most of what I have to say about gacha games, and I think it's really interesting to talk about this. Not in a bragging sort of way. I mean, obviously, I think the way I do things is the right way because that's the way I do them. But I just think it's really interesting how people handle pop culture and entertainment experiences in different small, sometimes big ways that you might not always realize. The different habits people have. And with gacha games like this, there's the opportunity to have a lot of habits because it's very time consuming and it's really something that you have the option to have a lot of different experiences with. It's not just like someone playing Journey where you're going to have the same experience. Usually, you're probably going to beat that game in 2 sit downs at most and stuff like that. So streaming is another thing, and streaming, I have less to say, but I do feel like there's probably an even bigger difference with how I experience that than there is with gacha games. So the big thing with me and streaming on Twitch is that I do not follow streamers. I'll follow them if I watch someone stream and I like the stream. I'll follow them because uh, I just feel like it's kind of a reward for watching a good stream for me. Not that my follow is worth anything, but I follow games. I don't follow streamers. I follow games that I like. I follow games that I've played. If there's a game I really love, I can watch different people react to it a whole bunch of times before I get tired. I think I've watched at least 40 hours of The Last Guardian. That is a conservative low estimate. I'm going to guess that it could be 10 to 20 hours higher than that. And I'm not tired of that yet. I watched a lot of The Witness, and I eventually got kind of bored with seeing the same parts of that game because that's sort of a puzzle game, really cool puzzle game, but there's a limit to that. And so I'll watch people play these games I like, and if I like them specifically, and I like that they like the game that I like, I'll follow them, and then I will usually almost never watch another one of their streams unless they play another game that I like or have played. I come back to the streamers that I follow so little that I was actually thinking earlier today about making a Word document so that I can remember them better if I ever do check them out, because I'll always see these people come up that it's like, you're following them and they're streaming right now, and I'll go, who is this person? I don't know who that is. I don't remember them. What game did they play? Was it The Witness? Or was it The Last Guardian? Was it Killer 7? Was it Siren? Was it We Love Katamari? I don't know. I never watch multiplayer games because I don't really play them. And I don't watch games that I don't play, that I haven't played. And multiplayer is just not the most interesting to me. I'm interested in stories. I'm interested in moments that I've experienced and I can watch others experience. And I will never give them hints in order to augment their experience. I want to see how they experience it. If they hate Trico in The Last Guardian and call him a bitch, which I've seen people do, that's going to piss me off, but they can do that. And I'm not going to try to change or ruin their experience to any real degree. So a big reason why I don't watch games that I haven't played is because I really hate spoilers. This is something that all my friends know about me. I'm kind of annoying in that regard often. If there's a game I want to play, even if a YouTuber that I like, which I'll watch YouTube, I'll follow YouTube gamers a bit more than I'll follow Twitch streamers. I watch Game Grumps a lot, for instance. I watch them way more than anyone else, though. But if, say, Jacksepticeye is playing this game, Ancestors, which he has been recently, I watched those videos and I thought that game is really cool. I'm not watching his videos of that game anymore if he puts any more of them out, because I want to play it now. So I'll stop doing that. And I think there's a lot of people who watch game streamers who that's how they experience a lot of the new games that they can't get, is by watching their favorite people play them, because no one has infinite money. So that's, I think, is a difference. And it's just, I don't really like speedruns. When I watch speedruns, I'll also watch them by game. Every once in a while I'll check, is there a new Breath of the Wild record? And it's very easy for me to become bored with watching speedruns. I'll only watch a speedrun of a game, once, and then will be the point where once there's a new record, I'll click on it and I'll kind of tab through it, just going, maybe they did something different here. And speedruns are huge, on Twitch. And I don't play fighting games at all, so that's another huge area of Twitch that is just not not of interest to me. So that's all I have to say about that. This video is really long, but once again, I find this stuff really interesting. If you have sort of anything that you feel are differences in how you experience movies or TV or games, or anything like that, I'd love to talk about it, because I think this stuff is just, I love to see people disagree with me and go, "What, are you insane for doing this? You're not doing it right. You're not enjoying it. You'd enjoy it way more if you did this." I want to hear people say that in the comments, so maybe I'll get one of those. In any case, for now, thanks for watching. Bye.